Hi everyone, welcome to the second video of Music for Mindfulness with Alina Orchestra and Arts for Health, Milton Keynes. My name is Anna Sideris, and for our wellness tool today, we're going to think about easing tension in our bodies using our breath and our imagination. But first, let's have a quick think about our space. It's really helpful if you can find a quiet area where you won't get too distracted while watching our video. Find a comfortable position, either seated or lying down, where your body feels fully supported. And lastly, it can be helpful to have a notebook and a pen beside you, just to make note of any thoughts or feelings that pop up along the way. So as I said, today we're going to think about physical tension. Now, what I'm going to offer you is not necessarily a quick fix remedy, but if you feel prepared to make a gentle commitment to the ideas that I'm going to bring you, it can have a really lasting benefit for your physical and mental well-being. So, we're going to begin with what's called a body check. This is where we take our focus steadily through our entire body, thinking about how each part of our body feels. So, close your eyes with me, or maintain a gentle focus looking straight ahead, whichever you prefer. And let's take our attention to the crown of the head. Just hover there for a moment, and then steadily allow your focus to travel down, perhaps to your forehead, to your temples, to your cheeks, to your nose, to your ears. And as you make this journey, just notice how each part of the body feels. Keep working steadily downwards. And just notice, perhaps your body feels really soft and relaxed today. Perhaps it feels a bit tight, a little bit tense. Perhaps there are even points of a bit of pain. But try not to let this worry you. Just notice as you go on this journey. As you bring this journey to a close, arriving at the feet and the toes, I'd like you to open your eyes. So what did you notice as you took this journey through your body? Did you find points of softness, points of tension? If you can, I'd like you to identify one area that felt particularly tight today. For me, it was my shoulders. And now we're going to take a moment to see if we can loosen and lengthen and release a bit of that tension. So now we're going to use our imagination. I want you to think of the most radiant, bright sun, shining in the middle of a beautiful blue sky. Just take a moment to really see that. See those beams and rays of sunlight dancing in the sky, shining brightly. Now I want you to take that sun and allow it to hover in the sky, shining down on that point of tension in your body. Feel how those beams of sunlight shine onto your skin and how that makes you feel as it's gently warmed by those beams of sunlight. Now perhaps those beams of sunlight even pass through your skin and bring that light and that warmth to your body from the inside. If you can, I'd like you to close your eyes again and just take 3 to 5 breaths really thinking about that image. See that beautiful, radiant sun. Feel how those warm rays travel down and land on your skin. Feel them pass through your skin, warming your body right to its core. Now let's open our eyes again. I'd like you to take your focus to that part of your body that felt tense. I don't know about you, but already I can feel a release and a relaxation in my shoulders. And that was only after doing it for a couple of breaths. Now don't worry if you don't feel this difference right away. That's completely normal, and it's probably the first time that you're trying this with us. But as you listen to these performances from Alina's professional musicians, I recommend that you bring your mind back every now and again to that sunshine and how it feels shining down on your skin and warming your body from the inside.
Hello again. I'm Hilary Davin-Wetton, and I'm here to introduce you to the beautiful music which the Alina Orchestra is going to give you for this second Music for Mindfulness video. If you saw the first episode, you'll remember that we had one solo piece and one ensemble piece. And this second episode is going to be slightly different because we have two soloists. And normally speaking, the template will be a tutti and a solo. Tutti being the Italian word for ensemble, all together. So the first piece today is going to be played for us by Alex. And it's a piano piece by Schubert. Schubert's best known as a wonderful song composer. He wrote some of the most beautiful tunes for singers to sing in the history of music. And though this is a piano piece, it has something which could almost be a song as its melody. You might want to try and construct some words to it if you felt moved to do that. This is the tune. Now that's a very beautiful tune, I hope you agree, and if you don't agree, listen to it again. But the thing is that if you just had that sort of block chordal harmony all the way through a piece lasting 5 minutes, I think you would in the end find it hard to focus attention on it. So what Schubert does to keep things moving is to have a lovely undulating rhythm which goes underneath it. So though it's all the same chord, the fact it's moving around keeps the sense of forward motion going. It could almost be a little stream running along underneath this fantastic tune. Schubert is not, generally speaking, a very brief composer. He's a person who uses 4 notes when some people might only use 1, but the notes are so beautiful it doesn't really matter. And this piece is a particularly lovely piece because it just develops gently and then falls back again towards the end to something very quiet. There's no great drama in the piece. There are moments when the tension rises and the tension falls, as it does for all of us every single day. But in the way that Schubert makes the piece work, you feel you're having a little conversation with him about how life is today, and you hear about the good bits and the bad bits, and it ends very peacefully. So you feel that the tensions of the day are being resolved. I love the piece. I think it's a fantastic tune, and I hope you do too. Now the second piece is going to be played for us today by Alina's principal cello, Boz, and he's going to play the first movement of one of the suites by Bach, Johann Sebastian, the greatest of all Bach musicians, for solo cello. And it's a very interesting piece because it's a marvellous example of how with a single line of music you can actually imply some chords and some harmonies without ever playing two notes. This particular movement, Bach sometimes has two notes on stringed instruments. This particular one has never more than one note at a time. It's been handed down to us through a wonderful manuscript, very beautiful and clear to look at, written by Bach's second wife, Anna Magdalena. She must have spent hours transcribing this from his original writing into this very beautiful script. But it's a very interesting example of how Bach has great imagination about how he constructs music for one single musician to play. It starts with a little kind of arpeggio figure, just sort of playing games with the first chord of the key of the piece. The piece is in G major. This is the G major tonic chord, or the chord of G major. And he just plays games with it. And then he changes the chord, and then changes it again, and then comes back to the original chord of the key. Now this is a technical harmonic analysis. You can perfectly easily do without it. But what is important is that from this very simple little chord, he produces a whole flurry of notes which generate interest and excitement and a lot of technical challenge for the player. And as you listen to this piece and you see the music, again, it's just like the Schubert in the sense that you get lovely relaxed chords and then tenser chords and another tense chord and then a relaxed chord again. So the music moves forward through alternating tension and rest, which, as I said earlier, is quite a good metaphor for life. About a third of the way through, the piece actually stops for a second. It's as though he thinks, gosh, this is a nice view, I'm just going to hold this note. And the cellist holds one note for an extended moment, and then he goes back to the same sort of patterns he's had before. And you know that the end is coming because the final few bars have only one bass note. They go like this. So this note goes on and on and on. That is called a pedal because it simply repeats. And you'll recognise that this is a little way of raising tension for the final chord when you just hear this hammering away, just getting you ready. And if you did this, it would sound very odd. And Bach very carefully adds this pedal at the end so you know that the end is coming and you feel something's happening. You don't need to be a musician, you don't need to read a book on harmony to feel this sense of expectancy coming. The only other thing you can listen for are the patterns which we call sequences, where you play one phrase and then you just play it again a step higher. And that is a very simple way of constructing music. You don't have to think of a new idea, but actually it gives you a sense of progress, and that's a very interesting thing to do, and Bach does it a lot in his music. You'll also notice that the cellist is playing not always the same string. You'll see his bow moving from one string to another in the middle of these four notes, which is quite awkward and difficult to do, but Boz is a very fine player and he will show you how this music works. I do hope you enjoy this too, and I look forward to seeing you again at the next week's broadcast or before. Goodbye.